Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AZB TV's continuing coverage of the Damas World 8-Ball Championships in Fujairah, United Arab Emirates. I'm Jerry Forsyth with Mike Howerton, of course. And Mike, our field today was reduced considerably. We started the day with 32 players. We are now down to 8 who will be back tomorrow. The countries left in play are Switzerland, Sweden, Great Britain, Germany, Italy, and 3 players from the Philippines. Boy, the matches today, they were really a surprise.
Well, and I think they're going to be just as good tomorrow. We're going to start off the first match tomorrow with Dimitri Jungo. Now, Dimitri is a former junior champion, and he has to consider himself somewhat fortunate to have gotten to where he is tomorrow. He was playing Bahram Lotfi. The match went hill-hill. It took 3 hours. And Lotfi had a 5 to 6 ball out that early in the tournament he would have ran through with no problem. But at hill-hill, after 3 hours, that back arm gets a little bit tight. He didn't want to spin balls. He didn't want to take any chances. And he managed to make it through the out, left himself a very makeable 8-ball, got down on it, stood back up, re-chalked, got back down on it, and missed the ball. And Jungo jumped on that opportunity. Jungo is going to face
Marcus Chamat. Marcus always does so well in these major championships because he's got so much heart. But to be fair, today he really didn't face much of a test. He won his 2 matches today, 10-5. I don't know if that's good for him or not, because he hasn't had to play under pressure as yet. He hasn't been under fire. The fire will come tomorrow.
That it will. I had an opportunity to talk to Marcus quickly earlier today. Let's see what he had to say. Okay, I'm joined now by Marcus Chamat. Marcus is the first player through the group of 32. He's into the final 8. He had wins today over Semino from Italy and Kristoffersen from Denmark. Kristoffersen was having a great tournament, but you didn't seem to have any problem with him.
No, it was a tight game actually, but towards the end of the match, when it was tied 4-all, I played really good, so I took care of business from there.
Now, Marcus was one of the players that came into this tournament without having a guaranteed spot. He came in and he played in the qualifiers. What's it like coming into a major event like this when you know you're not even guaranteed a spot?
Well, actually, I just came because I've been here every year. I like the organizer, people. I like to play 8 ball, so I wasn't really worry about others thinking about my game. I was thinking hopefully I qualify. I didn't count on it, but hopefully I qualify. So now I'm down to final 8, so that feels good.
Oh yeah, no complaints at all. You talked a little bit about the hospitality here in Fujairah. They really put on a show. I mean, we had the dinner last night, and Jerry Forsyth says that it just gets better and better every year. I mean, have you ever been at a tournament where they take care of the players like this?
Well, of course, IPT is you can't compare it to IPT, but here is there's different religions, different husband. It's not like any other tournament. Here you're being they take care of you all the time. Make sure you have some rest and all that stuff. So of course it's nice, something different.
Well, next up for Marcus is either going to be Alan Cortero from the Philippines or Dimitri Jungo. Have you played either of these players?
Actually, I played them both. Dimitri, I played him one time, I think or twice. I've been in one time, and I lost him one time. And Alan Cortera played for some money games in the Philippines, so I never played him in a tournament. But I think he was lost, so I don't have to play the Filipino.
Well, go get some rest. We're back here tomorrow. Final 8, shooting for $60,000 in 2 days. Good luck, Marcus.
Thank you.
The representative left in the field from Italy is Bruno Muratori. And man, what a win he had today. Bruno beat none other than Shane Van Boning. Beat him 10-8. And Mike, I've got to tell you, I watched that match, and Shane never looked like he showed up in the room. He kept looking over at the next table at Ronnie Alcano, because had he won his match, he would have faced Ronnie in the next round. and he never seemed to get his attention on his own table. He was looking around the room. When he went back to the chair, he was acting bored and tired, and he just never played like the Shane Van Boening that we are used to.
Well, if Muratori felt that he had beaten the best the tournament had by beating Shane, I think he's going to find himself with a big surprise tomorrow. He's going to face Ronnie Alcano, who is a former champion in this event. Ronnie played his last match against Daryl Peach, and Ronnie came out and put on a performance that I'm not sure I've ever seen before as far as 8-ball play goes. He had a 5-0 lead early on. Daryl shot twice, and those were both break shots. Ronnie won the lag. He broke and ran. Daryl broke dry. Ronnie ran. And this wasn't just textbook 8-ball. 2 different times, Ronnie found himself in tough predicaments. Now look at this one shot that he had. I wasn't sure what he was going to do in this position. It looked like he might bank the ball. I looked at it. I didn't know if there was room for him to bank it. To the entire crowd's surprise, he fired this cut down the long rail. I was floored. I've never seen anything like that before.
And the shot he made that really amazed me was he snookered himself on an 8-ball. 8-ball was out on the head string near center table with a full blocking ball in between the 8-ball and the cue ball. Alcano sized up the kick, fired the cue ball into the rail. Cue ball comes out to mid-table, strikes the 8-ball, goes right in the heart of the corner pocket. There was never a doubt that that shot was going in.
And to Daryl Peach's credit, he did not fold under the pressure of Ronnie coming with that kind of play. Daryl knew that he was going to get his opportunities, and Ronnie did give him 1 or 2 opportunities after going up 5-0. Daryl pounced on those opportunities, but it just was a little bit too little too late, and Ronnie did go ahead and win the match. Who's our next match?
Next match tomorrow is going to be Warren Kiamco, and Kiamco will be facing Dennis Orcoyo of the Philippines. That's going to be quite a match because Warren Kiamco is one of those players who's real quiet. He doesn't make any noise. He's not a big personality, but he just keeps plodding through the field, keeps making the balls. And that's going to be one heck of a matchup tomorrow.
Well, it is. Orcoyo's played great today. His final match was against Hung Shang Wang. He's the top player in Taipei. It was an interesting showdown, the top player, the #1 player in Taipei versus the #1 player in the world. Unfortunately for Mr. Wang, the #1 player in the world trumps the #1 player in Taipei.
Our final match to open the day tomorrow will be between Ralf Souquet and Chris Melling. And Ralf played a match tonight against his good friend Niels Fayen that's going to stick in his memory. Ralf was up in his match against Niels, and Niels came back strong. And it wound up at a hill match with Niels breaking. Ralf thought it was over, especially when Niels hit that rack. He hit it solid, and the balls were flying everywhere. Every ball in that rack hit at least 2 rails. Unfortunately, none of the balls hit a pocket, and it was a big, wide-open table. As soon as Niels looked down and saw what he left Ralf, he slapped his stick against the table and walked in a very frustrated manner back to his chair to sit and watch Ralf take the match.
Ralf is going to face Chris Melling. Now, Chris Melling is a player that a lot of fans over in America may not be familiar with, but he is no stranger to the game of 8-ball. He's a 2-time European 8-ball champion, and Chris has been on a kind of a wild roller coaster ride all week. He didn't win any of the qualifiers. Well, first of all, he came here playing in the qualifiers, trying to make it into the tournament. He didn't win any of the qualifiers, losing in the finals twice, hill. As it turned out, a player didn't show up, so there was a spot left open, and they didn't have time to play another qualifier, so he earned his spot that way. He gets into the main event and loses his first match, but he's come back and won every match since then. He's now in the final 8, and he has a chance to play Ralf Souquet tomorrow. If he beats Ralf Souquet, he's in the final 4. Who knows what happens after that?
That's right. And after the matches tonight, Mike here had a chance to speak with both Ralf Souquet and Chris Melling. So we're going to leave you tonight by letting you hear what these 2 fine players had to say.
I'm joined now by Chris Melling from Great Britain. Chris just qualified for the Final 8. Now, for those of you at home who aren't familiar with the story of what Chris has gone through here, Chris came out and played in the qualifiers. He's played in 5 qualifiers before the tournament started, hoping to earn a place in the tournament. He got into the finals twice, lost Hill-Hill, lost Hill-Hill in his other 3 qualifiers. Now, from there, Chris, can you tell us what happened?
Oh, well, I actually got a place into the tournament by being the top seed as a loser, because I lost in so many finals and so many quarterfinals. So I actually got a place because there was 1 place left. So they let me go in, and it's all gone from there, really.
So he makes it into the main event without winning a qualifier. So your first match, you draw Gabica. What happens then?
Well, I mean, all the Filipino players, I mean, they've been around a long time, and you've only got to look at Efren Reyes, Francisco Bustamante. They're all unbelievable, and you know as soon as you draw a Filipino, you're in for a tough game.
What was the score in that match?
I think I lost 8-5, I think, or 8-4, it may have been. He played unbelievable.
So you go from the high of being told, although you didn't win a qualifier, you're into the main event, then you draw Gabica and lose your first match. What have you got to be thinking from there?
Well, from there on, I mean, whenever I play a tournament back in England or in the States or wherever it may be, I never think of it as a double elimination. I think as it just win 1 match at a time. And if you lose 1 match, it's like a second chance. So I play and just hope that I don't lose a game.
Well, he didn't lose again. He went ahead and won his next 2 matches, made it into the final 32, started off today, beat Mark Gray from Great Britain. I assume you guys are friends?
Yeah, I've actually played Mark a couple of times. We've played snooker together. He beat me on the Great Britain 9-ball tour. It was a little bit fortunate because I broke and cleared 9 times. He broke and cleared 9 times. The last break I snookered him, he came out of the snooker and potted the ball. So we were a little bit fortunate, but I mean, that's 9-ball pool and 8-ball pool. You take the highs and the lows.
So he makes it by Mark Gray today, 10-5. Then he played Daniel Weston from Germany. A lot of the fans aren't real familiar with Daniel Weston, but Daniel came back from 9-7 down to beat Yasmin Ushan today. Now, you were up 9-7 against Weston, and he won that next game. I thought maybe he was going to put together another big comeback.
Yeah, he put me in a funny situation because he let me have a go at the clearance. And it was a tough clearance, but because I'm used to playing snooker in English pool in England, the pockets are so much tighter that when they'll give you a chance, I just think, well, as long as you get 1 shot at the ball, I may pot it. I want 2 short what to do with the safety, so I thought, have a go, and if you get him, you get him. If you don't, you don't.
Well, he went ahead and beat Weston. He's into the final 8. Now, Nils and Ralf are still playing out there, and you're going to get the winner of that one. Any preference as to who you'd rather play?
Not really, because, I mean, people are probably not familiar, but I've been world champion twice at 8-ball in English pool. So I can handle the pressure, I handle the TV cameras really well. I've been put under the most amazing pressure, like Darryl did in the World 9-ball Championships, and I can handle it. So I'm not really too fussed who I play. I mean, they're both great players. I mean, you just look at the records. But I just concentrate on my own game, and if I play to my ability, I can beat any of them.
Well, Darryl did lose today, so we will not have another world champion in 9-ball who's also a world champion in 8-ball. However, Chris is still in the event. He's the last player from Great Britain. When you think of the powerhouses of pool, you think of Germany, you think of the Philippines, you used to think of America. Is the world ready for a world 9-ball champion from Great Britain and a world 8-ball champion from Great Britain?
Well, it's possible. It's only 3 matches away, and like I said, I can handle the pressure. I don't care who stood in front of me and how many people are watching. You know, what money's at stake, it doesn't really matter. I love the pressure, and that's the difference between being a good player and a great player. A good player can do it off the cameras. A great player can do it on the cameras. So hopefully I'll go all the way.
Well, it's good that he plays well under pressure because he's going to be in some pressure tomorrow. You got 2 matches to play tomorrow and then hopefully 1 more to play the day after that. Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
I'm joined by Ralf Souquet. Ralf just finished a great match with Nils Feijen. Ralf, you must have played Nils hundreds of times. Do you have any idea how many times you guys have faced off against each other?
To be honest, no. I mean, we played, quite a lot in the past, but I have no idea. Probably, 40, 50 times maybe, something like that, yeah.
Well, Ralf had a pretty decent lead in this match. Nils came back, came down to Hill. Unfortunately, it looked like Ralf was at a disadvantage, sitting in the chair with Nils breaking. Nils broke dry. Had he broken dry prior to that? It looked like he was having luck on the break each time.
I can't remember exactly if that was his only dry break or not, but luckily it came at a good moment. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it already. I was up 5-1, which is, I mean, it's never enough, to feel secured or anything. But Niels is a fighter. I mean, he always, stays in it until the very last second, and I know it, or I knew at that point that it was not over yet. And yeah, sure, I made my mistakes. I had some, two unlucky rolls on the break and with the layouts. And yeah, sure enough, he was ahead of me, and so I had to actually wait and hope for a mistake from him to get a chance to win the match. Yeah.
Well, the win over Nils qualifies Ralf for the final 8. You're going to face Chris Melling tomorrow from Great Britain. Have you played him before?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I know Chris quite well. I mean, he's been on the mostly English pool tour, and but he's played some Euro Tour events, some European Championships, but I'm not sure if I have played him before. Right now I would say no, I haven't played him.
Well, Ralf and I actually talked earlier, and I was completely shocked when Ralf told me that he had never won this event. I thought Ralf had won every event out there. He faces Chris Melling tomorrow. Get a chance, 2 matches tomorrow, and then hopefully a match the day after that to add this title to your long list. Good luck tomorrow.
Well, thanks a lot. First, as you mentioned, I have to play Chris Melling, and that's the only thing I'm looking forward to right now. And yeah, let's see what happens there. I mean, I'm definitely going to fight hard as I did in the last one, and I know Chris is a very good 8-ball player due to his English pool background, so I know he's going to be a tough opponent. But whoever makes it to the last 8 in a World Championship tournament has to be a good player. There's no doubt about that. So I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, hopefully we can do this again tomorrow night here.
Sounds good. Same place, same time.
All right, thanks a lot.